your weekly podcast for Civ 6. We're going over the fall patch review in depth here. I'm Sarnath with my co-host Louis as always, and our guest for the week is Under.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Under. Thanks for coming on. We are currently playing as you can see, if you're on Twitch, we're currently playing a duel together. Each of us is one of the new civs. I'm Indonesia, and Under is Khmer.
Come here.
Or that.
Actually, they can't really see the game right now. I have the patch notes up in front since we're going to be going over that first. And the fall patch notes hit with the DLC with 2 new civs, and that's what we're going to touch on first today. And we're going to talk about Khmer. We saw them played with the first looks for them and Indonesia, and their unique ability, the Grand Berets. Farms provide +2 food if adjacent to an aqueduct. They give +3 faith and an amenity to each city with an aqueduct. So let's talk about that for a minute first. It honestly sounds like a knockoff of the Roman bath.
So one more time, let me just make sure I understand what this is. This is ability for which civ again?
Khmer.
And it's and let me get my patch. I have it on there so I can check on my patch notes too.
I think it's a bit of a contradictive
Grand Berets
ability, to be honest, because the farms provide +2 food, which is going to give insane growth to your cities, but obviously the amenity thing is going to be a bit of an issue because big cities are always very high demanding on amenities.
And so the extra thing, the +3 faith and +1 amenity, that's just for the aqueduct. That because I want to make sure that's not for every farm. That's like a separate thing. Is it like if you have an aqueduct, you get +3 faith and +1 amenity for the whole city?
Yeah.
And the farm thing is +2 food if it just. So yeah, if you stacked a bunch of farms next to an aqueduct, yeah, you're gonna get a lot of. That's a good amount of food.
It definitely is, but the extra amenity is really big because depending on what you try to do, you may not have a lot of luxuries, or you may be playing in such a way that you want to delay improving those amenity tiles for other things like strategic resources, horses, iron, etc.
That's pretty important because you will get even in like duels, you will get war weariness pretty quickly. So that's definitely going to be and I think it might even be a bigger help in a free-for-all game.
Not many people tend to build aqueducts though, because the tech for aqueducts is very off the current meta, like cavalry. No one really techs aqueducts unless they're Rome, maybe.
Well, because a lot of times they don't help that much. If you're already in a start out in a green area, like the aqueduct's only going to add a couple housing, right? It could add up to 5. So in that case, but usually you don't found cities that are like terrible like that, right? So that's what you mean. Like it's just not that big of a bump most of the time for an aqueduct, at least when I play.
It usually isn't, but I mean, civs like Germany will build a lot of aqueducts because they're prioritizing the Hansa placements. They're not worried as much about the growth of the city because they'll make it grow outside of that. But this civ doesn't really have anything that would mandate saying, hey, I should, build right next to a mountain and make an aqueduct because I have stuff to worry about placing. It encourages the play style, but like Under said, it takes you away from that cavalry rush meta, and definitely night timing metas. The only thing it's going to benefit is if you're going for crossbowmen.
I do moment meta that is going to take more than a nice aqueduct.
Okay. So what about the leader's unique ability then?
It seems to be very effective against horsemen. Like it's supposed to be a counter unit, but it seems like I would expect them to counter more than they do, at least. Stop the horsemen.
They're good for
Crossbowmen can
by
definitely
with
shut down horses.
echolog
Yeah, I wish they would bump
anti-horse
those
unit.
up a little bit, because yeah, it doesn't feel like they even stop. They should. You would think one of them should stop one horse, but that doesn't seem to do that.
I played the
Unless you
game.
said if they're fortified, maybe.
I played a game yesterday as who was I? Pericles, and someone rushed me with archers and warriors and a few spearmen, and the spearmen were no trouble for the horses.
And especially if you have those workhards with Samaria, they don't even take a damage. They don't have penalties against spearmen or anything.
Nope. Let's talk about Khmer's leader's unique ability. Monasteries of the King. Holy sites give 2 food and 1 housing if placed on a river, and the holy sites culture bomb tiles. That's pretty damn nice if you're doing it early on.
Yeah, I'm still learning about these culture bombs.
I do like how Firaxes are trying to get more people to go religion, because at the moment, well, I don't mean at the moment as in right now, but pre-autumn patch, religion is terrible.
I would agree with that.
I think that might lead the league. Good. Hardly anybody I think that might be the most of anybody, or unless I'm not aware of it, right, Sarnath? I don't think there's hardly anybody. Maybe had like 1 or 2 at the most.
Yeah, there's only been 2 religious victories in the league's history that I'm aware of, at least for Civ 6. And religion's just too expensive early to really go for. I mean, sure, you're going to get Stonehenge if you built Apadana for the extra envoys, but other than that, no one really touches it, except for Russia, because the lavras are amazing. But again, it's just too expensive early on. There's too many other things to do in the first 40 turns. But because of the changes that they've incorporated with religion as a whole, more people are going to want to do it.
Yeah,
I think people don't go religion again because of the cavalry meta. People want to rush an early general, like kill a few city-states or maybe another civ with horsemen and just beeline cavalry and go from there. It's all about the cavalry meta.
But you're going to be feeling some religious heat in this game. I'm not really gonna even try to surprise you on that. I'm bringing it, because I do have I have 2, both of them in duels. Both of my religious victories were in duels. One was all peace, so that's a little easier. One was a legitimate duel though, and I won it.
I think we've got a few. I think we've got a few religion victories in Civ League, but we play a lot more 6-man games in Civ League as opposed to the 8-mans in CPL.
Do we have barbarians on this game, Sarnath?
I might have left them on.
Okay, just so I know which culture policy I want to do.
So, moving right along here then, the Domre unlocks with military engineering. Oh, it's that ballista mounted on an elephant. That thing looks weird as hell, and I think it comes too late in the tech tree at military engineering. I mean, what do you guys think?
I think I was facing. Yeah, I think it must have been the Domre, because I was playing Manana and along of the game, and I was seeing those things, and they seem pretty powerful. I was having trouble. Definitely. I mean, I was trying to kill it with a cross too easily, and it wasn't that late in the game. I don't think that he got them.
Oh shit! I didn't realize that it was at military engineering. I thought it was at normal engineering.
No, like that'd be a huge difference.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think the move and shoot thing is very, very good, because the only reason you can't use catapults at the moment is because of the getting them into position. If you get them into position, the person that you're attacking is going to have archer in the city and walls as well, so it kind of makes them obsolete.
Yeah, and another thing that's a big new unit, which is like the warrior monk. I did use those, and those seem pretty cool, because you kill units and it spreads your religion when you kill a unit. And they're not bad. I mean, they weren't really as good as horses were able to take them down, but
Actually, I have something that we're going to cover when we get to the warrior
a
monk
religious
that
unit,
Rom
a lot
sent
of damage.
me, where you can get a warrior monk to 109 combat strength. And that's on the offensive, not defending.
What's that?
I said, Rom sent me something, and what it is you can get a warrior monk over 100 combat strength.
With like upgrades and everything.
Yeah, with upgrades and slapping a classical or medieval general on it. You can get it over 100 combat strength, and you can go smack around helicopter armies.
That's pretty cool. That's another issue I wanted to bring up. I think people, I don't know if you guys agree, that people ban things like way too quickly. Like I've heard, like, I mean, I guess Australia is over OP, but I heard it was like banned like almost immediately. Like at least people should play with a new, like give it at least 2 weeks before you bat, I would think, you know. So I would hope nobody would ban these new civs right away. I don't think people seem to be
The problem
thinking
is
that
with
OP though.
with Australia, you can't declare war on them. It's about declaring war on them.
But it's only for 10 turns, isn't it? That they get this 100% bonus.
I
10
think it
turns
can
is
be
a
20.
long time.
I think if they oh no, if they liberate a city state, right? But if you're playing, which a lot of people do with the raise only option, then that's not going to be an issue, right? Because you can't even take a.
Well, sure, but still, 10 turns of double production in every city? That's huge. They're going to be pretty much 1 or 2 turning whatever they feel like.
But I just think, yeah, I just like to see. I just don't like it when, I know these are expert players, but I'd never like it when somebody just goes, no, okay, yeah, I can see that. So I'd like to at least see them do it with a couple games, not just in their head.
Okay, to bring it
they're
into
not right.
context then. Philly was attacked by Russian Cossacks. He defended with horses and killed all the Cossacks.
Because he was
Because
Australia.
he was one-turning them out of a bunch of cities. It didn't matter how many horses the Cossacks killed. There were just that many more. And he didn't have a lot to start with either.
I mean, I agree that it's OP. I'm just saying, I just think sometimes people are a little too quick. Or, I mean, like, I just don't want to see people like without at least like trying it. So, I mean, I guess you're saying they did try it, so they didn't just outright ban it without playing it.
Yeah, it was tested extensively, and it just couldn't justify letting it go, not until it's nerfed a bit. But moving along with Khmer here, this is the last thing for them, is the Prasat. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. But the same yield as the temple, and missionaries purchased in the city receive the martyr promotion, and it gives a relic slot. Tying to the relic slot, we're going to be primarily covering that in next week's episode when we go over the map changes. But there have been like 8 or 16 relics added to the game.
Yeah, I haven't seen many of them, but
And culture is pretty rare. I was actually
On there.
especially in a FFA, they get too many culture wins, do they?
No, not. We've had only a couple. I don't know about your server, Andre.
yeah, there's not that many, because even if there's one player in the game that sort of relatively knows what they're doing, they can just deny it by expanding or spamming culture themselves or declaring war on you. Which
I mean, he had like 7.
I love culture. I always go culture because I prefer the culture tech tree, but
That's awesome. It's nice to see another culture player for sure.
Culture win because the players made an agreement. Yeah, they made an agreement to tie, and if he wouldn't mess with his culture, but that win. But that's still pretty impressive, even if it was sort of an agreement that that he got that much culture going.
So let's talk Indonesia here. Their unique ability, the Great Nusantara, minor adjacency for coastal tiles to the holy site, campus, industrial zone, and theater square, and they get an additional amenity to each entertainment complex adjacent to a coastal tile. How awesome is that for a naval civ?
I really like naval civs, and I very much enjoy how they're early on.
For sure. I mean, I like naval civs as well, and
How effective can
but the ability for them
take
to
advantage.
use that minor adjacency while building on the coast, they may not have access to mountains as much because of it.
Better than like I
Right buffed ocean tile
You're cutting out a lot
civ
under.
that works around ocean tiles in their current state.
So how are you finding this duel? Is this just so you don't, is this just like odd for you under to play because you just don't play duels, right? Or are you able to, you're still like very knowledgeable, so you're still able.
I've never played a duel, and with the current city spawning bug,
Oh yeah, so that's another issue. What's now the city states can found new cities?
No,
Or
no, that's
what's
not it at all. Again, that's something we're really going to be covering next week because Ripped Panda actually figured out what's causing the spawning issue, or at least a very good idea as to what's causing it. But the real issue at hand is that the files were changed in such a way that it's checking for player positions first and then checking other things. So its future checks for what it wants to look for in the tiles is rejecting the player position. So then it's doing a new check for a player position in a smaller range over and over again, and that's why we're getting so clumped up together.
okay, so they're popping up just too close to
Yes.
the.
And it'll be much more in depth next week with that because Ripped has a much better explanation for it than I do.
from what I've read, it's the game's secondary spawn that's currently bugged. Like if you're playing, I don't know, France for example, and everyone else is on a river, and your second start bias is, I don't know, a lake or something, it's not putting you on that lake. It's just clunking you anywhere it pleases.
Are you just thinking
So
this guy?
Indonesia's unique leader ability, right? Exalted Goddess of the Three Worlds. The naval units can be purchased with faith, and religious units pay no movement to embark or disembark, so they're like Norway units. And +2 faith to city
Probably
centers that are
suck.
adjacent to a coast.
Yeah, in Civilization.
I lost you there for a minute, Sarna.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're cutting out a little bit. Mostly it's okay, but occasionally you seem to cut out at the end. I don't have no idea.
That's weird
Why
because
that
you
might
guys are cutting out to me, but I'm having no issues from the stream for volume.
I don't think it has anything to do with us.
Weird. So how do you
Hopefully
guys
with
feel about the Jong and Indonesia's ability to use faith to buy all their naval units?
Isn't the can't you chain the movement bonus from the Jong at the moment to basically move units?
Yeah, I actually got to see someone move a warrior 20 tiles in one turn.
If one one ship has a certain movement, every ship has a movement.
Someone's lagging.
What is it? The chain? So if one ship can move it 5 squares, and every ship in the formation can move 5
I think-
squares, no matter what.
No, I think you can use Indonesia's frigate to escort a unit if it's chained to them, so the form escort thing,
Oh, it's
and then
like,
unchain it, and then redo it, and it can move again or something.
but you mean like on the coast? The boat is on the coast, and the land unit can move with the movement speed of the.
Yeah, it gains the ship's movement speed.
Only fourth promotion.
Under is beating me on the score by 28.
I'm just looking at the new.
Yeah, that's right.
25% production towards districts and cities without a speciality district.
And
So a
the war-
speciality district
Oh, go ahead.
is an aqueduct. What else? I don't think that's a very good pantheon, to be honest.
The warrior monk is its own pantheon. Then you have to. So I think that only one person can build it, right? Because it only comes from that one pantheon that you choose, or not a pantheon. It's one of the follower beliefs. So that's a good reason to like race for religion. If you really want to build those, you have to get there first.
Yeah, that's one of the key important parts for the warrior monk. And while we're discussing that, I'm actually going to break down how to get a warrior monk completely out of control.
Cool, that'll come in handy for me.
So the warrior monk has a 35 base combat strength. Now, the tier 2 promotion, Exploding Palms, gives plus 10 combat strength. The tier 4 Cobra Strike is another plus 15. If you make it an army, that's plus 17. Oligarchy Government is plus 4. If you get Defender of the Faith or Crusader, that's another plus 10, and yes, you can pick both of them when you make a religion.
But
Plus-
they're banned. But those
Yeah, I
two
was
are
about to
usually
say,
banned.
like,
Those are currently banned.
99% of the time we ban.
However, it is in the player panel for discussion right now for unbanning Defender of the Faith and Crusader, but applying a ban implementation to where you cannot take Warrior Monk and one of those two.
It's the warrior monk on it.
Now, this is a what-if scenario, since you need to make all these things happen. You need a great general that applies to medieval, so it can be classical or medieval era, so that's pretty easy to get a hold of. There's a plus 4 civics card for Wars of Religion. It only applies if you're facing an opponent with a religion, however, and that alone
I think
is 100
that
CS.
I think other religion. I think also not having a religion counts as an other religion. At least that's the case for Crusade.
Yeah, it'll apply the same way for that card then. So that's 100 combat strength right there. Now, if you're Spain or America, that's 104 or 105.
Yeah, so that brings up, I mean, what like LDG was saying. One of his questions was, let me get it right here. He wants to know how the new religions, how the new patch is going to affect religions like Spain, Poland, Russia, etc. So that's one thing. Those civs that are more religious friendly.
I think a religion is going to be better than it was, but like I said earlier, I don't think anything's going to beat the Cav meta, unfortunately. And I'm the sort of person that hates textbook or cookie cutter builds like the Cav meta.
Yeah, the better players find out a meta and they just
Yeah, I don't think it with teamers like exploring, which is part of the game that I really enjoy. Like,
That's a shame. I mean,
that they don't like those maps, but then important, I guess.
yeah, I suppose it depends whether you're looking for like the competitive aspect of the game or just enjoying the game as it comes, which is why like a few months ago I used to primarily play NQ mod. I don't know if you've played NQ mod games. I used to like not only play because
This was back in the Civ 5 days, you mean, or what?
no, there's an NQ.
What does it do actually? What kind of modifications is it making?
It basically gets rid of the cav meta and the commercial hub meta because it changes trade routes again from civics, and all units have +1 movement. So horsemen and cavalry aren't so strong because you can get units. Because the reason horsemen and cavalry are so strong is because you can get them units into position before your opponent can arrange his defense.
So the horsemen stay the same, but all the other units.
And I think yeah, horsemen get +1 as well, but like melee units get +1 is a lot more stronger than horsemen getting +1.
yeah, it
And does
makes
it
a
get
bigger
rid of it?
difference in the long run for sure. But moving along with our discussion on the patch changes, though, I mean, we had a lot of religious changes come through. They briefly discussed them in the look over, but let's really break it down. Like the two new pantheons we'll go over first, which are city patron goddess and earth goddess. Now, have you guys played with the new pantheons at all, or have you not looked at them yet?
You were cutting out there a minute though, so I didn't catch what you were, but I can probably find it on my the new. Let me see where it's.
They're not on the patch notes actually, but City Patron Goddess adds 25% production toward districts in a city without that doesn't already have a district.
Isn't it a speciality district?
Yes.
So a speciality district, from what I'm aware, is a district that creates great people points. So a bath, an aqueduct, a neighborhood, an aerodrome, and a spaceport aren't speciality districts. So I don't think that Pantheon's going to be very good, to be honest, because most people build an encampment or a commercial hub first, and then that Pantheon's obsolete.
And what's the other new one?
The other one is Earth Goddess, and that gains 1 faith from tiles with charming or better appeal.
Yeah, I think that one's more. I think that one's more important because most of the ocean tiles do start off with a high appeal, right? So you're instantly getting a nice bump if you're
Yeah.
a coastal city.
For those of you watching, I turned the appeal lens on so you can see just in this map how that would affect the players now. So pretty much anything that's a light teal on the lens or dark green, like for coastal or freshwater if you're used to looking at through the settler lens for where to drop your cities at. I mean, it's pretty much the same, and you would get +1 faith on all of those tiles.
Yeah, that's pretty. But
I mean,
Pantheon,
depending on what pantheons you have access to, I think that's a really good way to generate faith if you don't feel like
that's after you choose
dropping
pantheons.
holy sites.
They usually
Pantheons, oral tradition, god of the open sky. Or
so you don't need to go to. You kind of depends.
like in my current spawn at the moment, I'd probably pick. I don't know actually because it's so bad. I'd probably pick oral tradition, but I don't know. I think the stronger ones are definitely oral tradition and god of the open sky though.
For sure, there's actually another culture-related religious choice that makes your temples and shrines give culture equal to their exquisite faith output.
Oh, I haven't seen that actually. That sounds pretty decent.
I was playing around with it in a game when I was actually trying to collect all the information about the new religious choices, and I went ahead and took it, and it jumped my faith up, or my culture up a ton. A lot more than I was expecting. I was playing on 4 cities, and it felt like I had almost twice as many as that.
And what's this?
So what? So it gives you culture based on your faith output of that holy site.
I don't know if we lost. Maybe we lost Sarnet there for a second because or maybe he just wasn't saying. Guess we're having some lagging occasionally.
Sorry about that. I had to run away. My daughter accidentally broke a glass.
That's not good.
But I'm sorry, it's called Coral.
Oh, choral music.
Yes.
Shrines and temples provide culture equal to their intrinsic faith output. So what's that? 2 per city?
Well, the shrine gives 1 faith, so that's 1. And then the temple gives what, 5?
6. I don't know, with the production cost towards temples, I'm not sure that's very good, to be honest.
I think the one that's the one you mentioned earlier was pretty good. The peels on the ocean and everything. That's definitely really good.
It just depends what
You're
you're
gonna be
looking
seeing
to do. Like, if you're going to take warrior monks, for example, if you're going to go all the way to that, you need the temples anyway. So you might as well take the coral just to help push your culture along while you recover from taking that route. Because it's not a tech route that you're sacrificing, it's your civic route. So you're going to hit feudalism, mercenaries, and your governments later.
And what's up with the culture bomb? I guess I haven't hear about that, but I haven't experienced it yet.
That's for my civ, that.
Tiles. It helps take over tiles.
Yeah, so if I build a holy site on my second ring of tiles, I'll get a 3rd ring tile for free, basically. So
Yeah,
it'll be good. I think it'll be good early game for things like if your iron's on a 3rd tile and you need that money for upgrading. But again, it's why Poland.
Every tile next to your holy site, you just get it. So right, every adjacent tile it's now yours when you do that, when you get a culture bomb, right?
Yeah.
It's just wonderfully useful. And In the early game, I could imagine a Khmer player using it to steal tiles away. Like if you forward settle someone, and you drop a super early holy site and just steal a horse or iron.
Just
feel
looking
like
at the, I think the new building for religion's going to be quite good. Stupas, 3 faith and 1 amenity. 1 amenity in every city is a hell of a lot. It's
Hell
basically
yeah.
a free. It's basically a free entertainment district.
of classical generals.
I'm
Sorry.
not sure about. I've just gone straight for religion.
But is that's the standard ban, right, Sarnath? That most games just ban the classical generals outright. You can only like scout with them. That's that pretty standard, I think. So do you want to just ban them in the under, or do you want to use classical generals? That doesn't matter to me.
I'm taking my time at the moment because I'm just reading the new beliefs.
They're
Okay, yeah,
absolutely wonderful changes for it. It's completely worth picking up a religion now. There's so many wonderful bonuses. For example, there is a enhancer you can choose through an apostle evangelize, right, and an evangelism that makes it to where when you spread your religion initially to a city-state, you gain an envoy there. Okay, big deal. But every time you complete a quest at that city-state, once it's following your religion, every quest gives you 2 envoys instead of 1.
Yeah, that could make a pretty big difference.
All of a
But
sudden,
I
that
think
player with the Apadana can't control your city-state anymore that's near you, because you're just gaining 2 envoys a quest.
banned.
Apadana isn't always banned. It's voted for to be banned.
Said no, not all. I just said it's often banned.
I think
Not-
Apadama's quite a balanced wonder, to be honest, because if you're building it, it's usually very early game, and it's a lot of production early game. It's at least 11, 12 turns, which is a hell of a lot, especially if you're sacrificing card for it.
So
True.
should we? I guess I don't know if Sarnath comment. Is he cutting out? Should we just ban the classical generals? 'Cause
I don't care.
that's
It's between you two. This
wanna
isn't
just
a
ban it?
sanctioned league game.
But that's what usually is the rule set, isn't it? That's a typical.
Well, the standard is that just the classical general stays within your borders. That's the norm
Okay.
at this point.
Want to do it like that? Under
What's that ban? Like, you can only use them in your
use
borders?
them,
The classicals, yeah.
get the bonuses, but you have to stay. The general has to stay in your borders,
Yeah, sure.
just for the classical ones. So what you played mostly like free for all games, and that's your thing.
Yeah, we don't normally ban classic generals. I quite like barbs. I don't really have a explanation why, but I just think the game should be played how it is.
I like barbarians too.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's how the game was intended to play, and it's another one of the things like where I'm talking about where I understand it's not always fair, but that's that everything there's always some randomness, and that makes it interesting. I think it doesn't have to be
Well,
100%.
to be fair, the game was intended to be played single player too. I mean, it's obvious discrepancy for multiplayer.
Yeah,
That's true. So but they
For
do get
accident.
banned a lot of times. Brawls.
I think
just hope they
the
don't
problem
ban
with
these new
barbarians,
civs.
they're like a major problem.
They cause a lot of lag issues.
Just pop up all of a sudden. You're like, what?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, I was randomly given the last great prophet because I'm Arabia. That's interesting. So if you use the observer mod, don't play Arabia.
What's that? Does that mean Indonesia can't get one now?
Well, it depends how many.
I'm
Oh
gonna do that
shit!
rule.
Yeah. Unless you've got a great prophet, but you like not founded a
No, it just
religion
means
yet.
he gets. No, you can. We can still both get religions because you can build Stonehenge, and the other person can get a great prophet. Just can't get. You can only get one great prophet because he's gonna get the other one. That so you could. We could both still get a religion.
Whoops.
But have you got a religion at the moment, or a great?
No,
Have you got a
but
great
we
prophet?
can. No, but I'm saying each of us could. One of us can build Stonehenge, and the other one could get a great prophet. So we're not. That's not going to
No,
stop us from building a religion.
I've already got a religion, so you can't get a great prophet anymore because
Oh, the great.
Arabia's in the game.
Oh, so you
Well,
already got a great prophet.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
that's
gave
why
me
you've
the
got
other
one.
one.
So the only way I'm going to get a religion is to do the
I don't even
Stonehenge.
know if you can, to be honest, because Stonehenge gives you a great
Stonehenge.
prophet.
I think it's going to still. Well, I'm building it. Let's see what happens. I think it's going to still pop up a.
Nah, I don't think
So,
you got it.
how do you feel the new civs are going to disrupt the current meta? Everything's about cavalry or field cannons right now. And with even on a Pangea map, Indonesia casually faith buying a frigate is a pretty big deal because that unit's going to be pretty much free for the most part. And it's going to randomly stroll up your bay and start wrecking one of your cities.
Yeah, and I think the position that the frigate's not even at frigate tech either. It's at mercenaries, which everyone gets because everyone wants 50% discount on their upgrade. So I think it's going to be very strong, even as a defensive unit, because they can just put it in the city and defend with it.
Yep. And it should give the equivalent of having a normal frigate for city defense too to all your cities.
Yeah, I'm not sure they've thought the whole defense thing through, but I think it's going to be very strong.
That was
Equivalent
pretty
to,
fast.
I think it's going to be equivalent to a knight defense, very early game.
How did you get the religion so fast? How did?
I built a holy site because of my civ.
And then you get. Oh, and you generate. Yeah, that generates
Yeah, because
one.
I got the housing and the culture bomb. Oh shit! Wait, I didn't build it on a river actually. I've just built that. Yeah, I'm stupid.
So all in all, a lot of people have said Khmer looks really, really weak, and Indonesia looks like it's just gonna wreck England every time on an island map. How do you guys feel about it? What do you think of Khmer? What do you think of Indonesia? And how do you think it's gonna fit into how things currently are?
Situational. I think it's going to be like Congo. If you're left alone, you're going to just become quite the out of control civ. But I think in 78% of
It does seem like it's more powerful than England, right? The bonuses it has.
Indonesia, or
Yeah, Indonesia. What's that next to me? Arabia, John. Is that like a great? What is that? Is
It's
that your
the
great prophet?
profit
Or
the game gave me because
oh,
I'm
that's
Arabia.
you. I'm confused. Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
I'm
I
not
thought that was
supposed to have
under.
units, but because I'm Arabia, it automatically gives me the last great profit.
Okay, I thought that was unders. I was
I mean,
like,
if you
why
want
is
to
it all the
declare
way
war
over?
on me and kill him, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, he can wander around. I just thought it was unders, and I was like, why is it all the way over there?
Maybe if you kill it it'll like die because I don't have a city for it to return to, and maybe you'll be able to get a great profit. I don't know.
But then I'll get war weariness, won't I?
That's true.
What map is this?
Fractal. Or, you know, for the viewers out there that can see the whole map, something my 2-year-old drew.
Currently watching this.
Yeah, we have people watching. I mean, there's
Do we
a
get
lot of
any
interest
questions?
at the new bugs that have happened, and then of course there's the bugs that were fixed that weren't covered. I don't understand why they wouldn't put the stuff they fixed in the patch notes at least. Like hoplites, for example. Hoplites don't get their bonus while standing alone anymore. You actually have to have 2 of them next to each other again.
Oh, you saying they fixed
Hoplites.
that bug? The bug with
Yeah.
the yeah, that,
You're not going to see hoplites standing alone smacking knights around anymore.
Well, because they were getting the bonus even if they had nothing next to. Yeah, it was a. I was, but I did that. I guess they probably got banned a lot. People didn't like that, right? So did that civ just get banned a lot? Probably, huh?
No.
Well, in Civ League, offensive single hoplites. I mean, there's nothing you can do about defending hoplites because, after all, it's the opponent's choice to attack into a lone hoplite. But like the use of attacking hoplites is banned in Civ League, but I don't think CPL ban it.
No, we don't. We don't see the point in banning it.
So do you play more of your games in the Civ League than you do in the CPL, or are you in both equal?
Yeah, I'm a moderator in Civ League, so yeah, I play more. But going back to what we were saying about the new civs before, I think my civ Kerm is very situational, as you can probably see here. I've only got one city that I can build on a river, so that's my bonus is completely out the window.
Whoops.
You get those elephants, though.
Yeah, but I don't know. The kind of, because of my land, I can't actually make use of the move and attack bonus because of the hills.
Yeah.
It's the same reason I don't think Samaria are that OP. They're only OP if your opponent's city is surrounded by flat land.
And you're like 6 tiles away.
Yeah, that once the game gets going, they're not that strong anymore, right, Samaria? It's all about the early game for them, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
there's also like when they pillage, if you have an alliance with someone, your ally gets benefits of the pillage too. And if there's barbarians turned on, which usually there aren't, Sumeria is amazing because they get a goodie hut with every barb camp they take.
Yeah, if you turn the barbarians off, yeah, that won't take away a little of their bonus. But yeah, that's a pretty cool. You get a little goodie hut every time you kill a barbarian camp. Can you feel the religious pressure coming at you under? Do you feel it? I don't know if you feel it yet. I think I'm going to. I don't care what you guys say. It's going to happen.
Because he's Arabia, I think I can win a religious victory, and there's nothing you can do about it.
That's horrible.
We'll see. I think that Stonehenge is going to pop up. That's just the definition of the thing. You get great profits. I don't think that's going to stop it, but we'll see. I am
But
building
you can't.
Stonehenge.
There's no way. I don't think it will work because you can't build you can't recruit a great profit.
But that's just the function of Stonehenge that gives you a great profit. That's just what it does.
Or even if all of them have recruited.
We're gonna
I don't
find
think
out.
that thing. Well, I think it just means you can't recruit a great prophet through the great person screen. I don't think it meant that stun hit, but we'll find out. It's almost done building, so.
How many turns away?
Okay. Now we got a cliffhanger. People can't, even if somebody thought about like, oh, I got to go to the bathroom. No, they aren't going anywhere because we are a cliffhanger now. What else do we got on your for the podcast, Arnett?
Oh, it's all about the patch notes, guys. All about the patch notes, all about the patch in general, the new civs, how they interact with the other civs. One of the big things coming up was we have a naval tournament coming up where it's going to be all the naval civs because Indonesia's a naval civ that just came out. I'm going to see if actual dates have been finally set for that or not. No, nothing yet. But it's going to be all of the major naval powers. You're going to have England, Indonesia, Norway, Brazil. You're all going to be duking it out with the naval ships and really seeing how Indonesia measures up compared to the other naval powers out there. Because Indonesia's strength comes online a lot sooner than the other civs do. Brazil doesn't really have anything until nationalism for the Minas Gerais. England's power doesn't really come until later with their unique frigates. However, the naval dockyards are incredibly strong to secure almost every admiral in the game. So Indonesia is going to be very hard pressed to deal with that.
Where were we up to with the patch notes? I don't think we even touched on them yet, have we? Really?
Oh, he's been going over them, but going over we went over all the bonuses. Steam, that was that Steam page. Yeah, it lists them. I think
We haven't gone over everything yet.
we went over the.
I think we were up to.
We're on the
Wonder
Kampong,
and
actually.
Kampong.
The unique improvement on the coastal tiles, you put adjacent to a sea resource
Oh,
like
okay, that's
fish,
right, yeah.
crabs, whale, and it's +1 housing, +1 production, +1 food for each adjacent fishing boat, and gives more housing, production, and tourism as you advance through the game.
Isn't it bugged?
I do not.
I think I was reading in your patch notes page that it's bugged. Where is it?
I would not be surprised after how some of these things have turned out. We've had city-states spawning on top of players, players spawning on top of players. Like,
yeah, that. I think if Firaxis don't fix that soon, it's going to completely break multiplayer Civ. I think people are just going to sort of throw the towel in with that because it is ridiculous. I played a game yesterday.
If they don't fix what? What is the specific?
There's a bug at the moment where, for a start, city-states won't settle their cities on their first turn, and previously the way that the game would be like, oh, what's this player's start bias? So if you were playing France, it would be like, okay, we'll put them on a river, and if there's too many rivers already occupied by other civs, it would go to a secondary start bias, which, I don't know, for argument's sake, would be next to a mountain or something. But at the moment, the secondary start bias thing is completely bugged, and for some reason, it's just putting people like next to city-states or next to other civs, like not even 5 or 6 tiles away, but literally like a tile or two away from. Like
another, yeah, that's
it's ridiculous.
Bad. So far, yeah, no. I don't think any of these are coming up in duels. In the duel world, there's just a lot less problems.
You'd like after this podcast, set up a single player game, and I'll guarantee you'll be put next to a city state or another player.
Yeah, a single player game. It's affecting single players too, and that's why I think the issue will actually be fixed. Because if Firaxis chooses to ignore this, which I don't think they will, but if they choose to, it's going to piss off the entire customer base.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the make or break of Civ 6. If they don't fix it, people are just going to give up.
No, I can't imagine they wouldn't fix it. It can't be. I mean, at worst, they could just go back. If they had to just back out of the whole thing and say there's no, go back to the previous patch if they had to, before it was broken. But I don't. They won't have to do that. They'll fix it. I believe in Ed Beach. He'll fix it.
So going back to the wonders, the new wonder that you can build is called the Angkor Wat Wonder. +1 population in all current cities when built, +1 housing in all cities, must be built adjacent to an aqueduct. That is insane.
Yeah, I think that's going to be extremely good for civs that spawn on continental borders, because there's always the issue of amenities. If you spawn in the middle of a continent, you've only got access to 4 amenities.
Yep, I didn't get a great profit, so I guess you guys were right about that.
Rip.
Maybe if I kill your great prophet, I'll get a profit. I'm going to
Oh
find
God,
out.
he's running now.
Kill that sucker.
So with the natural wonder that's been released as well, it's a 2-tile natural wonder along the coast and provides +3 food, 1 production, 1 culture, plus 15 combat strength when defending the tile.
Yeah, that's very. Yeah, I haven't seen any natural wonders like that give a combat bonus.
Holy crap.
That's pretty cool.
There's the Spear of something. Is it Spear of Fion or something?
Yeah, Spear Fion, where you run a unit into it and then out of it, and they have +5 combat strength permanently.
Again, I don't know. I don't understand where they're going with this extreme situational thing. I mean, 15 defensive strength is a lot if the other person is stupid enough to attack into that.
Yeah, it's just helping you protect like if you're really relying on it for your city to get some big bonuses, you can protect it. It's not going to have any kind of offensive advantage to like push somebody anywhere, I don't think.
Like, if we're looking at this map now, like that would be really good on the wine tile that separates me and Amsterdam. But anywhere else, it's just going to be pointless.
It just helps you defend like if you've got a really nice bonus because you put your city next to it, then you can help defend your spot there with that bonus.
Yeah, but +15, if you have 30 strength over another unit, you one-shot it. So it's giving you half of a one-shot while you defend. More so because you have +6 when fortified, so that's +21 combat strength fortified on that tile.
Yeah, just not going to attack that. You're going to leave that guy's natural wonder alone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna kill that prophet. You gotta let me kill that prophet to see if it gives me something. I wonder if it's probably not gonna do it. Maybe it'll let me capture it.
So speaking of the changes for religion, let's look at the religious lens. I don't know if you guys have used it much yet. I love it. Absolutely love it. Because it shows exactly how religion is spreading and influencing a city. If you click the drop down, you can see exactly where it's all coming from, how it's being influenced, how much pressure is being applied, and how many turns it'll take to convert another one. Like I'm looking at Angkor Wat right now, the city, for those of you watching in the stream. There are 2 sources of spread, as you can see on the right column. And on the left, you see that there is 1 converted. That's why the 1's there. And then in 12 turns, a second person will be converted, and that'll be the entire city for the time being. If we look, it also gives you the timetable as well. For example, poor Louis, his people are eventually going to succumb in 197 turns. Whereas it'll be 14 turns for Amsterdam to convert. And it shows the pressure that is being applied passively. There's no trade route exuding pressure. And speaking of trade routes, when you send trade routes to a city and you have religion, it'll show you the religious pressure being applied by that trade route now.
Yeah, no, I really like their religious lens. Are warrior monks yet under? Hopefully we can see some warrior monks for the audience.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be building them because I got no religion.
What do I need? What do I need to build?
He did that on purpose. I'm going to say that he did that on purpose because he's tired of hearing me talk about religion.
See, that's not how it used
Temple in its holy site, so I need my unique building, don't I?
everybody off.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta at least see some. Yeah, we gotta at least see some warrior monks. I'm ready. I'll be ready for them. I like how they're unique, though. I like how you can there's only one of, only one civ can get them. I think that's pretty cool. Gives you an incentive to race, at the beginning to actually race to get religion if that's really important to your strategy.
I've hardly been paying attention to the game, to be honest. I've been reading the notes.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff there. And continuing on with that, there's all of the religious units have been moved to their own layer, so to speak. Now, they're not going to collide with your builders and your settlers, and they're not going to collide with your military units anymore. You're going to move your military units on top of them and past them like anything else out in the world, like the grass. However, when you are on top of an opposing player's missionary apostle, you will have a charge like pillaging, except it's called Condemn the Heretic.
But at least you can, but it's really important that change, because before, bunch of scouts right on your city. Now that they can move on top of them, that you could still pillage them though. So, but at least you can move through them too, so they can't block you. If you have enough movement points, you can just move right through the military unit, I think, and keep going.
Yes, but cities also apply zone of control to religious units. Before, you could just run your missionary up and convert in a city. Now you run up to the city, and you have to wait until the next turn, because that city is exerting zone of control effects on you.
And also the religious units exert zone of control for religious combat now, so that's cool.
Yeah, I think religious units also gain flanking, don't they?
Yes,
And
they do. They gain
support
support
bonus.
bonuses.
But to be honest, I don't think I've ever had like a missionary or an apostle fight with anyone in multiplayer.
I did it in the game with King's Orient. He was he was using it to stop me. I was gonna get a religious win, and he built a bunch of inquisitors and reconverted his cities back to himself. So that was actually pretty cool. I think he said he had never seen religious combat either, so he thought that was, because I do try to get religion.
That's probably a good thing about my civ actually. If you did sort of religious combat me, you'd give me like a free relic because of my unique building.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see. I mean, I'll have to try sometime. You could get a culture win in a duel, because it's it's pretty, like, at the moment you just need 3 tourists, because it's just whatever. You just have to have one more foreign tourist than I have domestic. So it's right now you only need 3 foreign tourists to win a culture victory. I haven't seen
That
it happen in a
changes
duel
with
myself.
time, though.
Yeah, as I get more, he'll have to do
Yeah,
more.
there's no way I'm gonna get 3 tourists. Like,
Speaking of tourism, in last week's podcast, Under actually knew the math behind figuring out tourism. I mean, would you like to share that with this week's podcast, Under?
yeah. So yes, as Louis said, the way you get a culture victory is to have more foreign tourists than domestic tourists in your civ, and the domestic tourists, so that's tourists that you have in your cities that don't want to go elsewhere, is your total culture plus your inspiration culture divided by 100. So you've got your culture that you get from buildings and whatnot, and your total civic inspiration culture is eurekas. So things like the eureka for early empire, for example, is grow your civilization to 6 pop. So that would be a inspiration culture in itself. So if you're going for a culture victory, you don't want to skip inspirations as much as you can, which for me as like a perfectionist sort of player is perfect, because I hate skipping eurekas or tourists. I mean inspirations, and I don't. Tourists is your total lifetime tourism from your civ divided by a hidden amount which no one really knows.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that with us. I mean,
it-
I for
was it
one,
Kim-
I didn't know how that worked.
Yeah,
It's
a lot of
Kimmer that
people.
gets Kimmer gets that good that bonus for culture, right? One of those unique abilities. This one of the holy faiths that they get like a big culture bonus if they're near,
No,
or
they
is that
culture
Indonesia?
No,
bomb.
that's Indonesia.
But that's a religious ability. I'm trying to figure where.
There is a religious faith
Title.
enhancer that you can choose through an apostle evangelism that gives you the Khmer unique ability to culture bomb with holy sites.
But I got no religion, so that's not going to happen for me in this.
Sorry,
particular game.
bud.
But
I'm Arabia.
that sounds cool though.
Feels bad, man.
Back to culture, a lot of people don't understand that, like, the way you need to get a culture victory is to what I was saying to Louis in private messages the other day. You need to sort of get the ball rolling. You need to found the religion, form alliances super early on, so that people can't deny the tourist bonus by declaring war on you. Because founding a religion in itself for creates a bonus to tourists, which makes sense, because in a real life circumstance, if someone else has got a religion, people will want to go and like see it, sort of thing.
I never even thought of it that way. Yeah, so if you're at war with somebody, you can't get any tourism from them. So that
Well,
in these
you can, but you can't send. Obviously, you can't send them a trade route, and you don't get the alliance bonus either. But if
so
say
you
it,
still get
say now,
but it's going to be just generate a lot less tourism than you would normally because you can't do those things you were saying. Okay,
yeah,
that makes.
I think another one is flight as well. Flight generates tourism.
Yep. And then there's all the buildings you can add through the culture central civics, like the museum, the national park, I think it's called. America has a unique run related to it.
Yeah.
The Broadway or something like that.
There's also some really good great people you can earn. So there's the great merchant that gives you 10 tourism per turn per campus. I can't remember what the great merchant's called.
10 tourism for
There's
every campus that you have.
Yeah,
So I mean, like domestic, yeah, whatever, yeah, tourism. Say right now I'm generating 3, so that would be a nice bonus for me.
and there's a great person you can earn, another great merchant, sorry, that you can earn that generates tourism per turn for industrial zones.
Yep.
It's either a
And then
science thing or I think there's one thing where you get like a 100%, 200% tourism for relics or something later. It's on like the
Oh, yeah. It's based on the archaeological finds.
reliquaries, or whatever it's pronounced.
you get like a you get like some crazy like bonus for I don't know if that even happens much in games. People are digging up
I don't think anybody
200%
uses them.
per tourism per turn, isn't it, from relics?
Mm-hmm.
like it's like 200% or something or doubled or something. It's like
I think the best one is when you're digging stuff up, and then you get something like plate mail is one of them, and you still haven't upgraded your units past like spearmen and knights. You're like, well, why didn't you just take it from that guy?
Because you've just yeah, like you've discovered it. Like you have plate mail now.
So back to the patch notes again. The Guru support unit for religion can heal nearby religious units. I have heard that he cannot heal the warrior monk. Is that true or false?
I did get a guru in the game I played, but I didn't ever have it near anything to try to heal, so I can't tell you whether
I've got
that's
the
true or not.
Pantheon, so I guess we can test it pretty soonish.
That would be great. I know he doesn't passively heal. You have to actually tell him to do so. And which makes him completely separate from the medic that everyone thought he was going to be compared to. Because everyone thought it was just going to be a religious medic. But that seems to not be the case at all.
And didn't they do something? Did they increase, or is that a single player? I thought they increased the religious pressure a little bit for 10% for one of the civs.
I think what you're referring to is missionaries.
Oh yeah,
It's according for the patch notes. It is.
Oh, don't
Sorry,
they get rid of other civs' religion when they spread theirs?
Improved long-term usefulness of missionaries by giving their spread religion ability a 10% eviction of all other religions.
oh, so it takes away 10% more of the other religion when you're trying to flip it
So
over.
you send your missionary to town to give everyone their 30-day notices.
Yeah, I think religions. I think they did a nice fix to it because I don't hear people complaining saying, "Oh yeah, religion's OP," but they're saying like, "Well, it's better now."
Yeah, I'm not sure they've done enough.
We'll see. Everyone has their own play style. We just have to see how everyone chooses to incorporate these new changes. It's brand new. No one's really figured it all out yet, and it might take some time.
Are you getting ready to pump out some warrior monks, or you're not there yet?
Yeah, my production's kind of naff.
So, referencing the trade routes, right, that we discussed, applying religious pressure, it actually breaks it down in the patch notes. The city you're trading to gets one pressure per turn based on the origin city's major religion. So let's say it's Under's capital going to Louis' capital. It'll be one pressure per turn from Under's religion to Louis' capital. However, if Louis has a religion, Under's capital from the trade route he sends gets a half point of pressure per turn in response to that. So it affects both sides. So you got to be careful when you're doing these trade routes with people with religion trying to spread yours, because it could backfire and all of a sudden they have religion in your city. And you're going to have to go clear out the heretics yourself with your apostles.
Or the Inquisitor. I think the Inquisitor too. That's the ultimate. Inquisitor is the ultimate like counter to the apostle or the missionary. It'll eat those things up, or at least it's more cost effective too.
I think it will take a while for people to learn about religion, because how bad religion's been, like, since day one. No one's really bothered with the mechanics behind it.
Oh yeah, I can see it. I'm just doing a trade route right now, and can you see that? Yeah, you're an observer. Can you see it, Sarnath, when I'm doing my trade route? Or is it showing up in observer mode? I'm not sure because I see it 0.5, so the half of a. I guess, or
Send the trader out.
Well, you're getting my religion.
I'm getting
Yes,
like
I
a
can
half.
see the.
Getting a half of religious pressure from that trade route to you.
Yep. On next turn's rollover, it'll update the lenses for me to see that. It's all these minor changes that seem, in some people's eyes, really dumb, but it's actually really nice. Because before, the religious lens was kind of a big pain in the ass, and now it's crisp, it's clean, it's very easy to tell what's going on.
No, it was awful. You can never know when you're gonna flip a city. You just have to bomb a city with missionaries and hope for the best.
Yeah,
You had to go in there and you could go into the menu and look. Well, that's for your own cities. You could look and see how many, like, is it 4 or 5? How many religious citizens? But yeah, it's much better now.
Yeah,
Or
you'd never know like how many missionary it's going to take for a city to flip, though.
so are you pumping out some warrior monks yet or no?
No, I'm still. I've only got 8 culture per turn, so the civic's taking a while.
I thought it's a pantheon, isn't it? It's a follower belief. I thought to get the warrior
Yeah, but
monks.
I need mysticism.
he has to get temples built from theology
Or
in
or you
order to get what he needs.
be able even to build it. Okay.
Yeah.
I think the religious pressure is only internal trade routes.
No,
if
it's
I send the-
external as well.
If I send a trader to Indonesia's capital, which I can't pronounce, it doesn't pressure the city. Right, we're there. Wait till next turn.
Oh, you're gonna see if it's gonna put pressure on my. So what are my cities now, Sarnath? As far as how soon will they convert? Less than
Your
197.
capital will convert in 55 turns.
197.
Now, if you were to send that trader out from your capital instead of Havapura, sure, why not? Because Havapura is only half converted. There's only one person there converted out of the 2. So, because it's not the majority, the pressure won't apply because technically the city isn't fully to that religion. It's not majority. Now, your capital is 4 out of the 5. That's majority. That's over majority, but that one would apply the pressure. Or Angkor Wat is 2
that's
out
already
of 2.
so that's already been. How come it's not showing? If it's 4 out of 5, shouldn't that be showing it's his religion then?
It does show it's his religion. But when you look at Havapura, or now, okay, now it's 2 out of 2. Check it now. Does it apply the pressure now?
Nope.
I don't
That's
have.
really
If I
weird.
send the trade route to Major Paffit, it's 1 production, 3 gold, and a science.
It's really weird.
Oh, it's because no, it is converted.
That's
I don't
okay.
see my capital. I don't see my capital is converted. I just see it says Pantheon God of Craftsmen. I don't see his religion on there.
No, and it's not based on your city, Louis. It's based on his.
But I thought you said
Oh,
4
I
out of
wonder
5 of my
why-
citizens are.
No, I'm talking about his capital. He has a religion you don't.
You said 4
No,
out of
but
5.
where are
Oh,
the
I thought you
patron?
said 4 out of 5 of mine were converted. I was like, I don't see that.
I wonder if
Yeah.
it's because when you set up a trade route, it shows you what you get out of it, not what they're getting out of you. Now, if you look at the top of the trade screen when you're selecting a city, it should say what the city you're sending to benefits from it. And the reason it shows both in that way is so that you can see when you're doing internal trade routes what your other city's getting.
I don't think I can see. No, I can't see what they gain. I can. Oh, their benefit.
That trade rate to Anchor Tom, I'm getting +3 gold, +1 science, +1 faith.
Right, so the patch notes said destination cities get 1 pressure per turn of the origin city's major religion, if it has one. So yeah, it should.
Well, I sent it to Anchor.
You don't have a religion, do you?
He
No.
doesn't. So it won't
Yep.
show you gaining that half pressure back as part of the deal. It should be showing at the very top of the screen when you select a trade route. There's a small box up there and it says it should show what they get. And that's when you're first picking a trade route for its destination.
Oh yeah, it's good. Maybe it's because the trade route's already sort of in effect. One of the Sos, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but someone in the suggested topic said that religious victory is impossible at the moment because of destruction without theological combat.
Because of what's wrong with theological combat?
You can use a military unit to get rid of a religious unit.
I don't think that makes it. I think what they now that let you pass through that makes it a lot more easy because you can't block with those units.
That and
But
they have to use action points, actual movement points, to deal with the religious units. You're not just stepping on them.
Plus, you have that if you bring the warrior monk with you, he's going to help, protect your missionaries and then the guru can healing the warrior monk, your religious units if it's like to protect them. And if you do that, then I think you can do it. You just have.
Now there were some other small changes in the patch notes. Like cartography used to give +1 movement speed to embarking units. That's on square rigging for frigates now. I'm not too sure why that change happened. I don't think it was ever a really big deal.
I think that's mainly because, like, in both leagues, we don't normally play maps with naval combat. I mean, one movement can be a hell of a lot because if you're fighting someone that doesn't have that +1 movement, you can get a ranged unit into position and attack without them defending.
But that's just for units embarking into the water.
Oh, it's not. Isn't it +1 for all embarked units?
+1 embark speed from yeah. +1 embark speed. So you're gonna move an extra water tile. With
Yeah, so ships will get that bonus as well, won't they?
Why would ships get that bonus? They're not embarked.
They're not really embarking though. That I think embark only means like a land unit is going into doesn't it? Does that mean embark for the ships too? I'm not sure.
I don't believe so. Let's look at the good old tech tree here. Yeah,
Go on. Yeah,
definitely do not see anything in regards to ships counting for embarked units. I'll look at the CivPlaypedia. Embarking units.
I suppose.
Land units that embark are considered to be in a transport ship, don't have combat capabilities. Yeah. Yeah, because you require shipbuilding to embark units. It is land only. Naval units do not benefit movement from that.
I'm not sure why they changed that then, because maybe to stop settlers, like, I don't know.
They need
I
to.
think that's just one of those like changes that no one really cares about.
For like free for alls. Follower belief. I think that you get a +1 faith for every city that you convert of another nation. If they made that a little bit juicier, that would help more. Like in a big game, if you started like maybe what if it was like +2 or +3, and then you could start converting like 15 or 20 cities. You could really you could really get the ball rolling on that. But at +1, it doesn't feel like that big of a.
So,
But also later in the game, if you guys
go
say
on.
later in the game, you can start building military units with faith. So if you get a lot of faith going, and you can have a good production just from the faith alone, and then complement that with building with regular production. That can be a factor. That going though.
I mean, there are a lot of benefits to doing it either way. You just got to figure out what works for you. I could see us having a return of theology. Merchant Republic is incredibly powerful, though, and but if you have a really good start where you can justify having a good faith income, or you happen to just generate a lot of faith, like let's say like you get a Dead Sea Star, where you have that, what is it, 1 science and 4 faith a turn from that tile. Yeah, you with that, that's a nice kickstart. You're gonna have early missionaries with that. You have a very early apostle, but
You've got the problem. I think the problem with that is that you've got to work that tile as opposed to food and production.
but it's also a science. 1 science per turn is very potent early on.
There's one on the tech tree that gives you, if they have your religion. So that can be pretty cool if you've got some. If you're like a suzerain of a city state and you're getting like a whatever, a +6 science or something, and then now it's +9, or the gold you're getting 10 or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
Now it's 15, or especially if you had a bunch of city states.
So Agathy from chat said if they discount great people, it would make faith more important. Well, if you really care about that, you could always build the Oracle Wonder, which no one really builds except for Steve C, I believe, who rushes Oracle in his games. And, well, and that discounts great people purchased by faith by 25%, which is a huge chunk later in the game.
Yeah, so if you get,
It's
I've had,
invest in that early production, though, isn't it?
but you can start buying. Yeah, like you said, you can always buy people. People don't do that very often, but you can buy the great people with the faith, like you're saying, and that can be, that can be a big, especially when you add that, that deduction thing, 25%.
Steve C is Viridios, isn't he?
Yeah. He makes tons of different accounts because he keeps getting caught and getting in trouble.
Yeah.
It's underused because it doubles. I think it doubles everything. Like if you have an encampment, now you get +2 great general points, right? If you have for science, you get +2 on your universities.
Right, it just makes
whatever
it give an extra point.
Yeah, so instead of 1, but that's for like every one of them, isn't it? So if you have 4 +8 instead of +4, right?
So districts in this city provide +2 great person points of their type. So basically in your capital, because it's pretty much the only city you're going to drop an oracle in, honestly, early on, because, well, it's the only city that's going to have the
So you've got
production.
to sacrifice a hill tile, which isn't always good.
Yeah, good luck with that. Unless you're Greece, I guess. They have a hill bias. Well, that's
Well,
very
also
true,
help you
Agathy, that, the oracle doesn't have to be built early because nobody builds it. But if the Apadana is ever built, which it always is, you have to build it because they're going to build it for the sole purpose of envoys.
But also think another use of the oracle would be to rush for religion, right? Because you build a holy site, you get +1, right? Now you're getting +2.
You get
So it helps you
+3
get that
with
great.
that because it gives 2 extra points.
Oracle needs to be built early as well because it gives you 1 culture and 1 faith. You need to build it early to make that worthwhile. It's not worth building an oracle at turn 50 because you're only going to get +50 culture and +50 faith in the whole game from it. It's the same with Stonehenge. People don't for what it's worth.
So, for all of you people who like playing Persia out there, the Immortal can actually capture things now. It behaves as a melee unit now. You can make it capture a city finally. You're not having to drag a scout along because your swordsmen don't know how to be swordsmen anymore.
Yeah, I'm gonna start doing that Oracle more. Just yeah, that helps you. So you're getting a +3. You build a and you have the Oracle. You're getting +3 religion then. +3 great profit points from that one city. That makes a
I mean,
big
you
difference.
can, but if you really want an early profit, just do a project. It only takes a couple of turns, maybe 3 at most, usually. Hold on. And
Oh yeah, I
you're
forgot
going to get
about that.
like
Yeah, you
20
can.
points out of it.
But you have to have a holy site.
Yeah.
Can't do it without a holy. Yeah, so yeah, that's right. I didn't think of that. Yeah, those projects can make it. So yeah, it makes it. If you really want to get those warrior monks, you have to rush to. If you think somebody else is going to try to get it from you.
I would love to
Yeah, I
see
think
a
Russia might
game.
be quite overpowered with warrior monks, actually.
It would give them an excuse to skip nights.
So yeah, I haven't really talked to a lot of people playing it yet, so it'll be interesting to see what the top players do if players they do use religion. They just use it, but they don't. It's not like a victory condition that they're going for, but they do use it some to help just the general benefits of religion.
For sure. I mean, the Lavra is incredibly potent. It gives writer points, musician, and all of that as well, and artists. And those getting an early writer, that's free culture. And you can use that in diplomacy games to broker for time to build for Cossacks. It sounds dumb, but that great work is worth 2 monuments.
And that what was that one thing where you get bonus oh yeah, bonus amenities. Was it the Indonesian wonder that you get like a bonus amenity for building something? You were saying you could get a bunch of bonus amenities, but I forget which one that was.
The
I think it
religious
was I
I
think it
building?
think
was
both civs have got an amenity
no, it was some
bonus.
no.
Are you referring to
Yeah,
the
you get
religious structure?
no farms provide +2 food if adjacent to an aqueduct, +3 faith, and +1 amenity to each city with an aqueduct. So
That's my
if you're in
unique
a
ability.
if you're in like a city for every city, that's a nice advantage to helping handle the war weariness better than them. And then maybe because of that they'll have to declare peace because they're just getting overrun with barbarian attacks.
That's
So
what I was saying when Sarnith first went through the new civs earlier. Like my unique ability, it's plus like +1 amenity from entertainment to each city with an aqueduct, and farms provide 2 food if adjacent to an aqueduct. But the thing is, the amenity bonus is going to get like contradicted by the fact that you've got all this extra housing and food. Your population's just going to catch up to your amenity bonus in the end, so it's just going to even out.
well, it gives you more incentive to build an aqueduct too, right now because your aqueduct's going to give you that extra
It's like the
and
opposite
+1 amenity.
problem Russia has with its land grab bonus. It grabs all this land, but it has no way to really boost its population to work those tiles. Whereas Khmer is going to have a massive population.
In the Congo, you don't want to build them unique buildings because, for a start, people can send partisans to you, and secondly, you're just going to get amenity blocked.
Yup.
But it's like now you could build a city in a non-green location because you can get your aqueduct is going to probably give you a +5, and now in addition you're getting this faith.
And another comment from the Twitch chat actually. The Khmer unique unit that has the ballista on the elephant, it upgrades directly into artillery.
Oh, I didn't know. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that. Those things are pretty
Yeah, I
tough. Like
suppose.
I was playing against them, and
Oh,
they're
so
pretty
it
tough to bring
replaces it.
down.
Does it replace bombards then? Can I not build a bombard?
I played a game, and the person I played got bombards too. But these things are like, I mean, I had them near my city, like one or two of them, and they took down my walls pretty fast. They're sort of like a bio bombard. Did just like bam, bam, like two or three, and then my wall was gone.
Yeah, I think the thing is they're going to be my unique unit is going to be very situational. If there's a hill tile, it's just if there's no general, it's not going to be able to get into position and shoot. It has to have a free flatland tile near it, otherwise it's just pointless.
The other isn't it true, Sarnath, that the mods are just not stable? If you try to make a mod, it often screws things up, right?
Usually, yeah, but there are people there that actually know what they're doing, like Hellblazer, Fruit Strike. I don't. Fruit Strike's gone back to Civ 5 though. He's in other games. He said he stopped really working on Civ 6 at all. But Hellblazer's a really good modder. He really knows his stuff and knows what he's doing. So he'll probably be he's probably busy converting all of his mods to be up to date with the new patch.
There's a lot of these things that if they mods would really be like if they're more stable than with the people that we have in the CPL that know how to mod can fix a lot of these problems. Because we can't wait for we realize that Firaxis is not going to fix all these problems. That's just the way it is. So I think we have to mostly rely on ourselves to fix them, right? If we have the mod or just agreements between players not to do certain things.
Firaxis need to fix the city spawning thing, otherwise, I don't know. Like it's just going to be stupid if that stays.
That issue is being looked at by them. We received confirmation on that, and we've submitted a multi-page report with a lot of information in it as to what was causing it. But again, we're going to be going over that in more detail next week, because the person who's behind all of that, who actually figured all that out, will be my guest next week, and that's Ripped Panda.
To be honest, I'm hoping that Firaxis have fixed it by then. That's another issue. I mean, if we look at a game like Overwatch or League of Legends or World of Warcraft, whatever, like big games, with such a game break within hours, probably. I mean, I play a lot of League of Legends, and if there's a game breaking bug that bad in the game, they'll literally disable whatever's causing it and fix it within a day.
Yeah, I mean, I personally don't understand how this even made it to release, let alone through the testers. I mean, that maybe the testers didn't get that version of it, or I don't know. I don't know either, to be honest, Under. But whoever was responsible for handling this particular side of things dropped the ball really, really hard. Like, they need a pay cut or something.
But this is a single player bug too, right?
Yeah, it's hitting everybody. It's a bug in the core scripting, because someone went and changed something.
Or even hot fixed anything though in this game. Seen a mini patch.
They don't do mini patches. That's the problem. That's why there are so many bugs. Look at Aztecs. They still only get their amenity bonus when they attack. You figure that would have been fixed by now.
Isn't that intentional?
I don't know, is it? I've seen people reporting on both sides of the coin there. But look at the hoplite bug. That's been there since release.
But is this something that it's not going to hit single player and you won't see it? It's going to only hit occasionally, or? But I don't know. We don't have a lot of people doing single player, but it's not every time you play single player, right? It's a certain instances.
I mean, the bigger problem, just like some of the people in chat are saying now, it's not just Firaxis. Firaxis is owned by 2K. They can't do things unless 2K says it's okay. So the question really is did Firaxis drop the ball here? Or just 2K just not give a damn about their product and not care about their customers? That's a pretty bold statement for me to make that pretty much accusatory line. But by all means, they're welcome to prove me wrong and fix the issues in Civ 6.
So what people are now just playing at the moment, just without city states?
People are trying to figure out what to do. They're trying to tinker with map settings. They're trying
City
to turn
states,
city
right.
states off.
Turn it
Yeah,
off.
One of the
Say-
potential fixes that's temporary that we've figured out through our league, we've had players submitting all the bugs and potential fixes into a chat channel. And one of the fixes was to make the map one stage larger than all the players. For example, you'd have standard for an 8-player map. You set it to large, which is meant for 10 people, and it's more spaced out, so it's a little better.
It should never get like releases should never get to the point where they say, the only thing we can do is disable city states. It's just absurd, really.
No, I bet they'll fix that pretty rapidly since it's because it, like you said, it is affecting single player. I gotta believe they're getting tons of complaints.
Warrior monk.
But even then, even if they are getting tons of complaints, the bottom line is, do they care?
Well, I'm hoping they care, but yeah,
How do
but I'm
I
just hoping
can't
that
I can't
Go
build
ahead.
a warrior monk.
Not without a temple in the city, you can't.
I've got my unique unit. I mean, my unique building there.
But yeah, I guess you have to have a temple.
That's weird. It replaces the
Why would
temple?
a monk be hanging out?
Yeah,
Why
I've
would a
got
monk
a.
Why would a monk be hanging out anywhere where there's no temple? They wouldn't do that.
Yeah, he's got it, a shrine and a prasad.
No, I can't build one. In Ankatam, I've got Let me double check.
I see it.
Yeah, I've got a prasat, and I can't build a warrior monk.
And you
Well, there's another bug to submit to Firaxis and
through
2K.
faith, right?
The unique, or the Civ can't make a warrior monk because their unique temple apparently doesn't count as a temple.
I can build a guru. I can build a guru, a meeting house, a missionary, and an apostle even. But this is the same as there's an inspiration for a certain civic, which is build 2 neighborhoods. And
But you did that
and
faith, right? You did the right. You have to do a follower belief that lets you build warrior monks. And you did that one, right?
oh wait, actually,
Yeah,
did I
'cause
just skip? Did I skip that? I might have skipped it.
You skipped it. You took
Yeah,
a
but
Jesuit education and meeting house.
Why did I take that? Right, let's.
Oh,
all
so
right,
yes,
build an apostle.
the bug is you this time. This is your bug.
Player inoperable.
Yeah, it's a specific. Yeah. Remember, we were. Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of stuff happening, but yeah, we were talking about that you got to rush. You got to rush to that because it's a follower belief. So whoever gets it, that's the only person that's going to build the Bill Warrior monks. They're
Oh, you can only
unique.
have one follower belief as well, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so only one civ's going to get them. So I think that's actually cool, though. It gives you some. If that's important to your strategy, you better rush. If you think somebody else is going to try to do it.
But if you're a player like Japan, who gets the half-cost holy districts, you can drop a holy site in your capital right away, maybe 2 turn it, 3 turn it at worst probably, and you could just 1-2 turn a project, just one, and bam, guaranteed the first religion. You're probably gonna beat Russia to it.
just have to be wary of Arabia. So it's basically Arabia. If you're playing with Arabia, you're only going to have what, 2 in the whole game? Arabia's and whoever
Well, it
else
depends
gets them
on the
first.
number of players.
Oh, okay.
No, Arabia always. No, you don't have to worry if Arabia's in the game because they're not going to want to get their great profit rush. They're just going to wait, aren't they?
Yep. But
Is it more if if they don't? It's not just one great profit you can get. It's more, but depending on how big the game is.
You personally cannot get more than one great profit, but the number of great profits available in the game depends on the number of players.
Oh, that's right. Yes, Arabia just is guaranteed to get the final one. Okay, that's right.
Yep.
Okay, that's okay then.
Did you? Right, what's the is it a pantheon?
No, it's one of the follower beliefs that you.
It's a follow.
Yeah, I can't get it because I picked Je suis education, I think.
RIP.
They're pretty cool, but they weren't really over. Like I said, I was playing somebody and they took with horses. They took the monks down pretty quickly, or maybe even sword. They weren't like just ripping through things. They're not like super, unless you got to like Sarnath was saying, upgrade them a lot.
If you can get them promotions off a city state, you're gonna be rolling.
And you got to bring. That's why the guru is important. You want to like if you're gonna spend all that promoting the guy, you don't want that guy to die. So you better bring a guru to help keep healing him. Maybe because otherwise those inquisitors, those things are really powerful. You better have some gurus, or those things are gonna just eat up your units, your religious units.
So do they get the bonus from oligarchy? Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
And I don't
Yeah,
know
it'd be
the exact
interesting.
mechanic of how much they spread religion when they kill a unit. If it's dependent on how big the unit is, I haven't really looked into that. But I know they spread religion when they kill a unit, their own religion. But I don't know how much.
I'm pretty sure it's equivalent to a
Much that
missionary
is.
spread.
I wanted to test it last night, but the game that I played, it was just ended in about 40 turns because of this CS bug where like one of the guys in our game, we played continents, and he just spawned next to about 4 CS and killed them by about turn 10 or 12 or something with a few warriors and scouts.
I've actually been making maps, not just to create maps, but to see how the bugs go with the spectator mod. And what I'm doing is I'm seeing how the player positions are correlating with each other in the city-states. And almost every single time, there's like this cluster of 4 to 6 city-states. And it's just disgusting to look at. Because it's like 2 science, 2 culture, a commercial. Like there's always like 2 of each type in there somehow.
Yeah, I think this game hasn't been like that bad really. I mean, Amsterdam's pretty close to Indonesia, but that's quite normal pre-patch. I mean, yeah, like yesterday we had a game where Germany spawned like say if my capital is Germany's capital, he had Seoul on like the Plains Hill next to the wine.
Oh my god.
Is it a secret nod? Like maybe somebody at Firaxis really found out about my nickname of the Rabid Zealot and just put a way in basically to force people to play duels for a while because they really like me. It's possible. I'm not saying it's likely because I don't really know anybody at Firaxis, but conspiracy theory.
I don't think that's gonna fly.
Does make you want to play duels more since it's not broken in duels. You can have all the city states you want. Like we're having a fun time with city states. There's no problem. I think Blade is doing 2 games this weekend. One of them is a all peace game where you have to win by religion. That's pretty interesting. I got to see how that game goes.
That game is just going to go on for so long.
Well, we'll see. With all the religious changes, it's going to be really interesting. Like normally, we'd see that and we'd just roll our eyes and go, "Oh God, why?" Why would you put people through this? But because all these changes, it might actually be interesting to see.
Yeah, so the person that gets the warrior monk's gonna have a definitely an edge over all the other civs. They aren't gonna have that.
Right, so this trade route's just finished now, and if I send it to Amsterdam, is his seas? No, 1, 2, 3.
Should tell you when as you're doing the trade route.
Amsterdam's mostly converted to your religion, though.
Oh, it is my religion, yeah. So maybe you can only exert pressure on cities that already have that thing
Oh yeah, I
to
see
stop
Amsterdam.
others.
Yeah, you changed Amsterdam to your religion, but yeah, I don't see how is he close to any of my cities there? Converting them started.
Amsterdam's close to your capital, yeah.
But
There's a lot of pressure.
Can you tell this is Amsterdam actually putting pressure on my city too?
Yeah.
So how much pressure does it? It tells you exactly in the religious lens how much pressure it's putting on.
You can look at it too.
It's a what is it? It's a let's see. How do I get religion? How do I do that?
Press
How do
one.
I get the religious? Oh, that's cool. How much?
Right, so religious pressure must be 10 to religious pressure must be 10 tiles away. Because I'm not exerting any pressure on turn 8, but I am to Palembang.
Oh, it tells you what tiles are. Yeah.
So that's the same as Civ 5.
Gonna convert in 17 turns. My capital.
The death of Louis come.
It's quite funny as well because literally because Sarnis Arabia, there's nothing you can do about it unless you use the condemn heretic thing.
There's nothing I can do. No warrior monks for me. But I did build the oracle, even though I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with it.
It's definitely interesting to see how it's all gonna go out. And the second game tomorrow, Louis, why don't you talk about that?
Oh, you mean yeah, like I was saying, that all religious? Yeah.
No, there's a second one. That's the first one.
What's the? Yeah, I forget. What is the? I forget the.
The other one's the naval battle.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah. So somebody's gonna. I'm sure somebody will play Indonesia in that game since they're. I think it has to be Navy.
Yep. It's going to be an all naval
Isn't
battle.
it just naval civs?
Yep. Norway, England, Indonesia.
Oh, it's only you can build anything you want, but all the civs are naval. Okay, that makes sense.
It's all the naval powerhouses, and it's going to be on island plates.
Yeah, that should be interesting. I know somebody wants to do a island plate duel tournament at some point. That sounds interesting too.
It could be. It really could be, and we'll just have to see what everyone makes of it.
Well, that's good. We got some activity this week in the Twitch room. That's good.
Absolutely, I was really happy to see the chat be interactive. And on that note,
Didn't you want to give a out to somebody that donated money?
Absolutely. I actually received a donation from Yoshi. A big shout out to him, and thank you for all the support. It's actually because of his donation that I have the DLC. He actually gifted it to me today.
Oh, nice.
So a big thank you out to Yoshi for all the support. I wouldn't be doing stuff like this if it weren't for the support from the community. Just coming by to watch is the support that I'm looking for, to be honest. So a really big thanks to all the viewers as well for coming out and stopping by, for those that did. we are going to cut the stream off here at this point for the podcast. So thank you all for coming by. And remember, this is part 1 of part 2. We're going to be going over even more stuff next week for how all the maps, the goodie huts that were changed, and you're going to even be looking at some city-state stuff as well that we didn't get to cover today. And that'll be with our guest Rip Panda next week. So thank you all for coming out, and a big thanks to our guest Under for coming by this week. We had a great time.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everybody. We will see you next week, as usual.